Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about Hyliion. Hey guys, so if you're new to this channel, feel free to stick around, like and subscribe, and make a comment on this channel. I love to talk about money, love to talk about investing, love to talk about just using wisdom around your finances so that way you can succeed no matter where you are. So in today's video, I want to talk about Hyliion. Hyliion. It's pronounced Hyliion. So let's say, for example, if you have a friend and their name is Leon and you say hi to them, you say, "Hi Leon." So that's how you pronounce it, Hyliion. Or at least that's how I remember to pronounce it. So basically the word Hyliion is actually a combination of words. It's hybrid lithium ion. So basically hybrid means a combination. And so basically this is what they bring to the table. Hyliion actually can take an existing truck, a Class 8 vehicle. Now if you don't know what a Class 8 vehicle is basically, you know, like the tractor trailer trucks that you see on the highway, the big trucks that are with the big back to it, the cargo coming down the highway. And so that's basically what those are, Class 8 vehicles, because it's for logistic companies where they're, you know, transporting things from here and there and driving across the country, etc. But basically they're able to fit a powertrain to those trucks. So meaning that an existing truck, meaning a truck that's already been made, already been built. So basically they're able to take one of those trucks and infuse it with their system, and their system will now give that truck more efficiency. Now, why is that so important? Also because it cuts down the emissions as far as the pollution that comes out of these vehicles. So now we can talk a lot about the trucking industry and the emissions and the payloads and things like that. However, you don't necessarily understand that. At least most people don't understand the trucking industry and things like that. So let me kind of give it to you in a very simple thoughts, very simple conversation as to especially why I decided that I was investing in the company. Well, number one, I love green energy. I love efficiency. I love the technology around that. So now if you're not aware, in the vehicle industry, it's really huge. Now, a lot of companies, they talk bad about Tesla. Now, I'm gonna tell you why they talk bad about Tesla. A lot of companies, especially those that have not or don't have any electric vehicles or all electric vehicles and things like that, a lot of them talk bad for Tesla because they really wish they had that technology. They really wish they could create that technology. The reason is because creating a whole entire new technology, it takes a lot of money, and that would include a lot of testing, a lot of failures, etc. And so a lot of companies would love to have all electric vehicles, and one of the reasons is because they know that is the next wave in our vehicle. Whether it's all electric, hydrogen, whatever it is, people are really looking to improve in that vehicle scenario. So just imagine, so when this pandemic happened, one of the things that you saw different cities and different countries reporting that there was a huge and significant decrease in the smog and all those pollutants that are normally in the air. It was pretty clear. The air was more clear than it's ever been. And one of the reasons for that is because we drive so many vehicles that put off so many different pollutants into the air. So it's not the best for our ecosystem across this entire world. So being able to provide or be able to create some type of solution that would help improve that, it's definitely something that's always been at the top of the list. It's been at the top of the list for many, many years. So a lot of these companies that you're starting to see come out, they're not just starting like a few months ago. They've been working on this technology for a while. So now one of the reasons why Tesla's so dominant is because they've been able to create the technology as well as be able to make it more common to have the actual vehicle by having more accessibility to charging and things like that. So what am I saying? So what I'm saying is that when it concerns this technology and it concerns how things have to be created, how things have to be built, how things, the process and how much time it takes to perfect it and then make it something that's accessible for the average person or the average business, it takes some time. And so why do I believe that Hyliion is really in a good spot? The reason is because they're not asking you, or they're not creating, necessarily a new truck. They're taking trucks that companies already have. So at one point, we're going to be in a place to where it's going to be required to have zero emissions. So for a company to be able to take their whole fleet and to, transfer it over or change it over to, a zero emissions or some type of electric vehicle truck, like we have so many that are trying to work on this, like Nikola and Tesla, they're trying to work on it. It's going to cost them a ton of money in the long run. Like, it's just going to cost them a lot of money to pretty much just kind of take a truck, get rid of it, and get a whole new truck, right? So what do they do with the old truck? Well, with Hyliion, they can take that truck and they can pretty much transform that truck into basically whatever it is that they need. So let's just imagine, let's say like you're in your house and let's say you want a new desk and you're thinking like, well, I don't want my old desk anymore, I'm just gonna get a new one. But then instead what you do is you take that old desk that you have and you sand it down, you fix a few areas, you paint it, and you make it look really good like new. You basically save a lot of money. Well, that's with Hyliion. So Hyliion's system will pretty much fit into any truck, and so that's going to be very attractive to so many different companies. To now, they don't have to figure out, where they're going to get the funding from for all these different trucks, and they don't have to figure out, well, what they're going to do with the old trucks, because it's almost like they're just throwing away money. And so that makes that alone very big for that company. So now I have another video coming out where I'll be going into even more detail between Hyliion and Nikola and Tesla and even a few other companies, just taking a look into them and why they're so essential, or maybe why they're not essential, like far as some of them that may just have started but they don't really have product yet. Now, one of the great things with Hyliion is that they actually have vehicles on the road right now. So they're actually producing right now. So they're actually giving results. They have results that you can tangibly see and you can tangibly touch and you can tangibly believe in. Now that's huge versus a company that just has a lot of thought. Like we talked about Nikola, most of their stuff is just more thought-based projections. Now remember, with these companies, most of these companies are like, startup companies or companies that are kind of in the beginner stage. I don't want to say startup, but they've, gotten to a place where they've been testing or they've been working on things behind the scenes and whatnot, and now they're starting to, find new ways to go public, or find a way to go public where they're able to get more funding, more investors, and even get themselves out there too, to become more attractive towards their, prospective clients. So I'm sure we won't just see the companies that are out there now. We're going to see a lot more companies start to try to make themselves attractive for these SPAC companies, these special purpose acquisition companies, so that way that they can also get the cash infusion, do some work. I'm sure you're going to have some companies come out there that they're, pretty much just going to scam the people and they ain't going to produce any product whatsoever. But this is kind of something that is starting to really rumble and bumble underneath the scenes. So now, in one of my previous videos, I talked about how when things shift and how when things are shifting and how to be positioned when there's a shift, because when a shift happens, it doesn't ask you if it's okay if it shifts, it just makes that shift. And now you can either be in position for the shift or you can be out of position for the shift. For example, as we've seen with this pandemic, there was a huge shift to online. So now if you have an online business, then more than likely, especially if you've already been running, then more than likely you may have seen like an uptick with your business. Or even if you have a YouTube channel, you've seen your views go up some. Why? Because people shifted their attention, and when those things kind of happen, the expansion doesn't retract much. So what's happening with the vehicle industry is that you see how things are developing on the scape when it concerns your regular residential simple cars and SUVs and minivans and things like that. You see Tesla, how they're doing and how they're producing, your regular sedans, then they're producing like your SUV type vehicles for family. Well, when you get to the trucking industry, that is also something that has been on the list and has been looked at for many, many, many years. And so now we're in a place to where companies are really starting to position themselves to be positioned in that field in order to capitalize and to bring new technology and new innovative, creative ways to being able to, help the transportation and the trucking logistics era, do much better. So now here's one of the things that I believe that will happen with Hyliion. So let's say, for example, like, Apple, like an Apple phone, right? So you invest in an Apple phone, or you invest in Apple per se, right? But then there's someone that is making some parts for the Apple phone. And these parts that they make for the Apple phone is what makes the Apple phone do very, very well. Now, most people are looking at the phone and they're looking at Apple, but then you also have the company that is, making parts that's making the phone do very well. Well, Hyliion is kind of one of those companies that they're making the parts for these companies to do very well. So what I believe is that Hyliion will be one of those companies to where you may see a lot of success from certain logistic companies and them doing very well. And one of the reasons why they may be doing very well and become more and more efficient is because of a company like Hyliion, who is providing the powertrain systems that go into their trucks and they're allowing their trucks to be more efficient, to move faster, to move longer, and etc. So it's a very good chance that their technology will be widely accepted faster than a lot of these newer companies that are trying to create technologies to where things still haven't necessarily progressed yet. So a lot of people are looking at Hyliion as like, oh, let me invest in this because it can be just as good as Tesla. It can be just as great as this. And you know, the truth is it's a very good possibility. It's a very good possibility with that as well as some other companies. And so Hyliion has definitely positioned themselves in the right place. But at some point, once Tesla starts to release their trucks and things like that, then, you know, hey, maybe it'll be some type of competition. But, you know, just keep in mind, it will probably be more expensive to buy a Tesla truck than it will be to buy, you know, the powertrain that fits into an existing truck. So if you're an owner of a logistics company and you got, you know, 1,000 trucks, or maybe you're an independent and you have your own truck that you already bought, right? And then let's say some mandate comes out and says, oh, your emissions have to be zero, it has to be this. Now, what are you gonna do? Now, you're gonna pay $300,000-$400,000 to get a new truck, or you're gonna pay, you know, maybe $100,000 less to get, you know, a powertrain put in, or however much it may cost, you know, once that thing becomes, you know, more common. Like, so what would you choose to do? Most people would probably opt to say, let me fit this within my truck if it's going to save me money, versus me just throw this whole truck away. So I think it's a very efficient company. I think it's going to do very well. Now, of course, those are just my thoughts. Now, if you're watching this, I'm not encouraging you to invest in the company. I'm just giving you my thoughts. So this is just my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, and you're encouraged to do your own research. So please do your own research and make the best decision for you. But all right, guys, I don't want to make this video too long, so I will talk to you guys in the next video. You guys have a blessed one. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Peace.